Are you ready?
You guys ready? Everyone good? Good? All right, good to go, Chief.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jeffrey Carroll, Interim Chief of Police for the Metropolitan Police Department. I want to provide an updated briefing of the information regarding the incident that occurred here in the 41 block of W Street Northwest this afternoon. A little after 4:40 p.m., 2nd District officers received a 911 call for a report of a shooting here in the block. When officers arrived on the scene, they located an adult female and 2 juveniles on the scene. One of those juveniles was suffering from a minor gunshot wound. The adult female had multiple gunshot wounds, and she was later pronounced deceased on the scene here. The juvenile victim was taken, both the injured and the uninjured, to a local hospital for treatment. Subsequent investigation on the scene here determined that there is also potentially a 3-year-old child that may be missing from the location, and it was determined that the suspect in this case had a domestic relationship with the victim here. The Metropolitan Police Department getting this information, we put the information out to the public regarding the suspect and his vehicle, and a plea for the public to help us locate the individual that we believed who was involved in this murder, as well as potentially the 3-year-old child that is missing. At this time, the child, he's 3 years old, his name is Million Jeter. He is still missing. We have released images of him. I would ask that anyone that sees him or has any information about his whereabouts calls 911 immediately so we can send officers out to locate him. Right now, that is our #1 priority, to locate this child. With that being said, as the investigation continued to develop, the vehicle, including the suspect, was seen out in Prince George's County by the Prince George's County Police Department. They attempted to stop that vehicle as it entered the District of Columbia. Members of the Metropolitan Police Department joined in pursuing the vehicle, and there was a vehicle crash in the area of 30th and Nash Place. At that time, the suspect in this case, Mr. Jeter, was located inside the vehicle with what appears to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The 3-year-old child was not located inside that vehicle. And again, that's so important. The most important reason that we're here is to ask for the public's help to attempt to locate that child at this time. So again, if anyone has any information related to the whereabouts of Million Jeter, please call 911 immediately so we can have officers respond out. The investigation here is still developing, as I mentioned, just in the short time that we've been here, and the detectives and officers have been investigating this. A lot of information has come forward. We pushed a lot of information out as it came forward, out to the public and to the media, so that we can get your help in helping us to solve this case. And with that, I'll take any questions that I can answer.
Questions for clarification. Number one, you said that you saw Prince George's County Police saw the truck in Prince George's, and a pursuit happened, and the truck came back into DC?
That's correct. The initial information we have right now is the Prince George's County were investigating a traffic crash out in the county. They saw the vehicle. They began canvassing for the vehicle, and they actually located it. They also alerted MPD officers, and that's when the pursuit began.
And do you think that he may have left the kid in Prince George's and then came back?
Again, right now, we're not sure where the child's at, and that's why we need anyone who has any information. Obviously, the child is not in the vehicle, so he is somewhere. Hopefully, he's somewhere safe, but we need to help with the community with that.
And then just as a father, can you just tell us how you feel about all of this? In DC, we're what, February 11th, and there have been relatively few homicides in DC, and it's been a pretty busy day in the city.
This is one of the most tragic circumstances I've ever seen. An entire family is destroyed through the acts of an individual. Right now, we have a missing child. We have another child that's suffering from a gunshot wound. We have a mother who's dead. Her children will never have their mother again. They have a father who's deceased as well. So this is just tragic all the way around. But at this point, we really need to find that 3-year-old and just make sure that he's safe.
So the self-inflicted gunshot wound was fatal.
Yes, the suspect is deceased, and we do believe it's self-inflicted.
Chief, can you clarify the relationship? He is the father of
So again, this is preliminary information. What the information is that we have is he is the father of one child. The suspect is the 2 other children. They were the children of our decedent, the female who was killed here, but that he is not their father. That's correct. He is the father of the 3-year-old. I don't have the information right now. I do know there were neighbors in the area who did call 911. The actual shooting occurred right in the doorway area of the apartment building and then led outside.
Are you searching the car for evidence? I'm sorry, did I interrupt you?
We have kind of conflicting information. There's several addresses that he may or may not live at, so that's part of the investigation. Obviously, we'll follow up to see where he may live at and any evidence related to this.
Chief, have you combed the vehicle for any evidence? Is there anything that you see in there that would lead you to believe that at some point that 3-year-old Millian was in the pickup truck?
Yeah, so as I kind of mentioned, this is all unfolding within the past, 15, 20 minutes. A lot of this information is coming in. So there are detectives that are still on scene with officers at the crash site looking at the vehicle to see what kind of information, evidence we can get from there that may help us to locate 3-year-old Millian.
Did the suspect live here?
We don't know exactly where he lived at this time. As I said, it's one of the things. There are several addresses that he has kind of associated with, so that's part of the investigation.
The other two children, the one that got shot in the arm, and then the other was an older, younger female, male.
So the victim that was shot in the arm is a female, and then the other child that was there is a male. Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. I can give you. Yeah. I believe the. We'll get it to you. I just don't want to misspeak on that. I'm sorry. On the female, I don't have her exact age. She's an adult.
Real quick, the suspect in this case, have you reached out to relatives? Obviously, right now the focus is finding this 3-year-old child.
Yes, no, that's correct. So those are the things that we're doing right now. As I mentioned, there's detectives not only here, the crash site, we're looking at former addresses, we're looking at family members or folks that may know him. So all those things are things that we're hunting down to see, may he be with a family member or relative. And that's why, again, we're asking for your help.
John Jeter married to the woman he's accused of killing.
I don't know if they're married or not.
We'll take one more here,
Hey,
guys.
Chief, this has obviously been a pretty busy day, a hard day in D.C. I'm getting the news from our newsroom that there's a homicide call at the 1400 block of Rhode Island Avenue. Are you aware of that?
We'll give you an update on that.
That's
That was earlier this morning, so we'll get you an update from that
This
separately.
morning.
Can I ask a quick clarifying question? I know
Sure.
the time was small here. The time of the crash again?
I don't have the exact time of the crash. It was probably 45 minutes to an hour ago, but we can get you the exact time.
Chief, just one last question. Folks have neighbors lived here for 20 years. They really shocked that something like this happened in this neighborhood. It sounds like it's a domestic incident here. Can you just talk about this can happen in any neighborhood? It's not, necessarily bad neighborhoods.
No, I mean, domestic violence can happen anywhere, and as we know, many times in domestic violence cases, these things continue on. There's a cycle that goes along with them, and things that happen indoors, appearances on the outside, and what happens inside are completely different. It can happen really to anyone. So there may be people out there today that are experiencing domestic violence issues. So we have a ton of resources that are out there. DC Safe. So anyone who may be experiencing those types of issues, we ask you to reach out to us. We can connect you with other resources. There's a variety of services that are out there. But domestic violence is one of the crime types that we are starting to see an increase in. Some of that probably has to do with the recent weather and the ice that's put people inside their homes. But here in the wintertime, we have seen an increase in that. So anything we can do to push that message out about domestic violence awareness and things that we can do to help people if they are in that situation. Thank you, everybody.